kind of broke off there, so that's not good.
Hey, it's Ryan with Gut Wrench Garage, and in this video, I'm going to show you the 2K XJ. This is our 1995 Jeep XJ project, and we're going to turn this thing into a rock crawler and take it on the Rubicon for $2,000. Oh, look, an airplane. Okay, so first, we're just going to walk around the vehicle. Now, I got this vehicle. This is the, like I said, a 1995 Jeep XJ with a 4.0, an AW4, an NP231, Dana 35, and Dana 30 in the front. You can see it's lifted. There is a 3 or 3.5 inch lift on this, I forget which. And it's got mismatched tires, but it rolls. It does not drive. The drive lines are out of it. And I don't know the condition of the transfer case. And I don't know the condition of the engine, except that it doesn't run. And there's one particular thing, however, that I do know. Let me show you a few things about this. It's got Jeep things wrong with it, but you know, we expect that. The other thing I know is that the engine, when I bought it, when I bought this thing, by the way, I got it for $500, and we're including that $500 in the build price. One thing I do know about it is that when I got it, the seller said that the motor does not run, and he did not specify why. I should probably use a tripod, but you didn't come here for production value. Anyway, so I pulled the spark plugs. That one looked okay. That one looks okay. And this one looks okay. And that one looks okay. Got two more. And this one looks okay. That one not okay. That came out of cylinder 6. And it's the one in the back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That cylinder has some issues. Now, I'm going to cut in some video that I took a few days ago.
Voiceover Ryan here. Yeah, that piston is not whole. You should not be able to see the crankshaft from above it with my borescope. And you can see the top of it kind of broke off there, so that's not good.
All right, so it's clear that that cylinder is a goner. Now, that piston is a goner, but it does turn over. We're going to see if we can get this engine running as is. Now, I do have a contingency plan, but we're trying to keep this super, super cheap because I've already $500 in, and $1,500 goes quick, especially when you're buying parts to make this thing an actual rock crawler. Now, what parts do I have? Well, this is a Dana 30, or Dana 35, sorry. Dana 35 is not a great axle. And it's good enough for a daily driver, absolutely. And certainly it's served this one well, I think. I haven't opened it up to look, but we think it works. The problem is that when you go from whatever these size tires are, 29s or 30s or whatever that is, when you go from that size to, say, a 33 or 35, the Dana 35 really can't hold up. And if you want to put a locker in it, Dana 35 really can't hold up. It's not something you want to spend a lot of money in. It's, I think, a 27 spline axle, or it's tiny. And so we need something better. So I found something better. The solution for the Dana 35 is this. This is a Chrysler 8.25 inch rear end, which is closer in strength roughly to a Dana 44. Plenty strong for 33 or 35 inch tires, and maybe even more, because of these. Yep, upgraded axle shafts. Those are 30 or 40% stronger than stock, and it has those because of what's in the middle. So in this differential, it is not the stock open diff. It is instead a Detroit True Track locker, or limited slip. So it's a worm gear engagement limited slip. So when it slips, it locks, and it stays locked until it doesn't, I guess. I'm not sure all the details, and I haven't driven it yet, obviously, because it's sitting on the slab here. And yes, my kitty is here to say hello. She wants attention. And so now the trouble here is, you can see it's got no brakes, and I do have brakes for it. They are not the brakes I was hoping for, and that's a different story that I've also mentioned in this video at least once. Yeah, mistakes were made. Anyway, but it's going to have brakes, and it will stop, and it's going to be great. So that's the rear end, the solution for the Dana 35. Okay, so this is the Dana 30 front, And these are known for being weaklings, but there's some goal upgrades you can do. So if you watch DexJ or DXJ or whatever his site, whatever he calls himself, if you look at his stuff, he tells you all about some cheap mods you can do to this thing to make it a lot better. There's a brace that goes in there. You can truss the C clip right there, and or the upper C, not C clip, but the upper C right here. This Y-link steering is going to go away in favor of crossover. We're definitely going to get a brace on the steering box over here and delete the sway bar and try to set this up for more strength and maybe some better articulation. We're more focused on strength, and we're going to drop a front locker in. We're probably going to just do a cheap lunchbox locker. So if you have a cheap lunchbox locker for a Dana 30, get a hold of me, and I'll put, again, look at the first comment. I'll put information on how to get a hold of me, and you can help me out selling me a cheap locker. So if you're gonna have a locker in a Dana 30, you need better axle shafts, because the 95 came with these small axle shafts. So it's a good thing I got these. And that's an upgraded axle shaft out of a 97 to 01. Got a couple of those there. And those are going to get new U-joints and go in. And we're going to use Spicer U-joints all around. I also got these awesome diff covers, which are going to be way better than stock. So we've got those. And I got a really good deal on all those. I'm not going to go into pricing on everything just yet, because there's still a lot up in the air. One thing I did buy that I found on Facebook Marketplace recently was this pile of steel. And that's a lot more than is going to be needed for the Jeep. But let me show you what I am going to use it for. The Jeep. Well, yeah, obviously. So we're going to do rockers. We're going to delete that bumper and just do a wraparound bumper. I've got some 3x3 tubing in there, and we'll probably use the 3x3 over here, the 2x2 tubing over here. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the front, because I do want to put on a winch. Now, I'm probably going to end up borrowing the winch from my Suburban just to stay under budget. But there's a lot of really, really, really cheap budget winches out there for like $300 for a so-called 13,000 pound winch that should be able to just pull this thing straight up a tree. But I don't know what we're going to do. I might build a bumper. I also, using the stuff I bought, or I might get one of those, kits for $100, $130 on Amazon for a flat pack bumper that you weld together yourself. I'm not sure yet. If you have suggestions, I would love to hear it. The one thing I do want to make sure of, though, is that it's completely structural and can winch this thing through whatever I put it through. So that's kind of it. That's what we're going for. We're going to keep this super cheap, and we're going to fabricate. And the reason that I am doing it this way is because I kind of don't know what I'm doing. See, I've got a lift here. We're going to utilize that once I get it installed. I've got some tools. I have a welder. I kind of don't know how to use it all. So this is going to be a great learning project, because I have other projects that I want to get to. For example, I want to go work. Well, I want to build myself an overlander that I can basically trust my life with. And I'm going to build it with that. And I don't want to be learning to weld again, because it's been a while on that. I want to learn to weld and brake on that. This is where the experiments happen. This is where the non-mission critical stuff happens. We're going to build this. We're going to take it out to moon rocks, and we're going to beat the snot out of it at moon rocks, find out what happens with it. I mean, we're not going to torture it. We're going to use it. And I'm going to learn to rock crawl with a double locked car. And I'm going to make sure this thing has proper cooling. It probably doesn't, and I'm gonna have to modify that. And I have ideas for that. I'm gonna make sure this thing works, and that I know how to use it correctly, and that I know how to recover it when I get stuck. Because frankly, that's not something you wanna learn when you're on the Rubicon. By the way, you've probably figured out, I live near the Rubicon, within 2 or 3 hours. I live fairly close to Moon Rocks out here in northern Nevada. And there's a lot of resources available, including lots of parts Jeeps. And I bought a parts Jeep for this, and that's another video that's going to be coming out, because I kind of messed up. Anyway, so burning budget, burning time. It's going to be fun, so keep an eye out for that video coming soon. And thanks for watching this one. If you have ideas, please put them in the comments below. If you want to see it, you know what to do, because we're going to have fun. And I don't know how long this is going to take, but my goal is to do the Rubicon next year. Thanks for watching. This is Gut Wrench Garage. Peace out. Sorry, I could do cheesier, I guess. No, that was pretty cheesy. See you later.